The Brian Kelly Radio Show at O'Rourke's Public House is presented by the experts at TireRack.com and is brought to you by Team Notre Dame partners Coca-Cola, Under Armour, and Gatorade. The Brian Kelly Radio Show is also brought to you by Delta Airlines, proud to be the official airline of Notre Dame Athletics. Bank of America, the official bank of Notre Dame Athletics. Canon, Xfinity, Vivid Seats, Nissan, St. Joseph Health System, and South Bend Orthopedics. The Brian Kelly Radio Show is also brought to you by Legacy Heating and Air. LKQ, pick your part. Now, live from O'Rourke's Public House, here's the Brian Kelly Radio Show.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to O'Rourke's Public House for the Brian Kelly Radio Show. I'm Jack Nolan, joined as always by the head coach of the Fighting Irish. Nice crowd here tonight. We always say come on a road week. It's not quite as packed in here. Summery night. Here in South Bend and on the campus at Notre Dame. And I know people were wondering, does it impact the game? And I know you instructed your players very firmly to start taking in water right now to get ready for
it matters. I mean, it was very hot out there today and yesterday. And if they don't take care of themselves, it can affect the way you play on Saturday. So now, of course, we play at 8:12 kickoff. So it won't be 90 degrees at kickoff, but it'll be in the mid-70s. And so hydration is absolutely crucial for our guys over the next 48 hours, and it'll adjust what we do also in terms of our normal routine. Tomorrow we normally would be outside. We'll probably stay inside, stay out of the sun, and then Saturday we'd like to get them out and move them around, and that might be a walkthrough in the ballroom at the hotel, just again to keep them outside under a beating sun. Can wear you down, as we all know. So it may have a bit of a change in terms of what we do.
And talk about your routine changing a bit. You were on the grass practice field this week because you're going to be playing on grass. Yeah,
and Michigan State Field is, when we talk about grass, it's just a terrific surface. So there's a bit of an adjustment, not a big one. You're kind of getting, onto almost a field turf surface with Michigan State. It's pristine, so there's never really been a big adjustment to it, but we wanted to get our guys used to it. I think the biggest thing is going to be the noise. So we had the crowd noise pumped in all week, and that makes probably for the biggest adjustment than anything else.
Well, they have an agronomy school up there, so I think if their field doesn't look good, they're embarrassed by it, so they put a lot of work into it.
That's for sure.
You look at Saturday, and even on the season, 515 rushing yards Saturday, 2 200-yard rushers in the same game. Never happened before at Notre Dame. You set the modern-day school record, 10.1 yards per carry, and I even got an email. Come on, Jack, it was BC. But the strength of that BC team is their front seven.
Who sent that email? Really?
Yeah.
My goodness.
It was actually a Facebook post. I mean, that's why you should stay off social media.
My goodness.
I mean, how impressed are you right now and pleased are you right now with the way you're running the football?
Well, we played a Power 5 team. It wasn't anybody else but a Power 5 team, a team that has good defensive players, and we rushed for 500 yards. Last year, all I heard is that we didn't run the ball enough. Now we set a record, and it's not good enough. So I know it comes with the territory, but no, I was proud of the way our guys really stayed after it. I mean, look, against the Boston College football team that prides themselves in their defense, and look, just think about 2 years ago when we went 10-2, we had to scratch and claw our way to a victory, and really didn't run the ball effectively on them, and to come back and do what we did against them, we executed very well. And again, it took time. I mean, we had to stick with it, and our patience and saying this is what we're going to do. I think that's the kind of demeanor and the mental toughness that we needed, and I thought it broke BC at the end.
You've now beaten them 6 in a row, but 3 of the previous 5 were close, and Coach Adazio said he says nobody runs on us like Notre Dame ran on us. There were other weaknesses you could exploit. So to have like Josh Adams do what he did, he now ranks 8th nationally in the country, just under 148 rushing yards per game. The Notre Dame record's 130.6.
Right.
So that's pretty impressive right there with what he is doing.
Yeah, and I think he's under the radar. I mean, he's not even mentioned, when they talk about the top backs in the country, nobody even mentions Josh Adams, but talk to defensive coordinators, and they don't want to defend him. He's a big physical back who can catch the football, and you can see every time he breaks out, you're going to have to go chase him down with defensive backs, and it's going to take a while. You may get him. but you're going to get him down inside the 10-yard line. You can see again here. You got defensive backs and corners chasing down 225 pounds. That's a big man that can run.
But again, he breaks tackles. He's not only fast, but he can break tackles.
Yeah. Again, the thing with Josh is that he just keeps pounding the football up inside here. Again, breaks a big tackle on the edge, and stumbled a little bit here. But again, I know it's the same replay, but the thing that he has done is consistently, when he gets out in the open, you got to go track him down.
And this is a later run right here. And again, folks, Coach is referring, if you're listening, to video being shown here at O'Rourke's. And this broadcast is also streamed live and posted on video on demand. So you can watch our show and see some of the highlights that Coach is talking about. Not only did Josh do a great job in this game, I mean, your entire running back core played well when called upon. But you've got a quarterback right now. And I saw Tony Rice play. He's the greatest running quarterback in Notre Dame history. But Brandon has the potential to be that. He showed an explosiveness that, in all honesty, I don't think any Notre Dame quarterback has ever had.
He's a pretty explosive football player. He's got speed. He's got explosiveness. He can make people miss. He's very strong, and when he gets out on the perimeter, you can see he's going to make people miss. And here he actually scores a touchdown. I guess the replay official was getting a hot dog at that time. That's the only thing they do, is they're responsible to see whether he scored or not. So I can't imagine what he was doing at that time, but he wasn't doing his job. So again, I think it's a young man that just is going to find a way to win, and that's what we love about him.
207 rushing yards. He obliterated the Notre Dame quarterback rushing record by 61 yards. They say records are made to be broken. I mean, you're a big sports fan. I can't ever think of a record at any school, any team that got broken by that much.
Yeah, it just goes to show that, you know, when we talk about football, the tenets of running the football and being able to have that explosiveness, no one's really had a tandem. I think it's only happened where there's two 200-yard rushers in the history of NCAA football. I think it's only happened about six times, 7 times.
More than that.
Yeah. In the history of college football. So with all those great wishbone teams, all those great option teams, it's only happened about 7 times. And that's why what happened on Saturday was a remarkable feat.
We're talking about the great rushing performance because it should be talked about. It was impressive. It was impressive in the opening game. And Georgia did a good job on you in the second game.
Yeah.
But what we have to also remind people is this game was 14-10 at halftime.
Absolutely.
It was 14-13 at one point. And the play that turned the game around was a defensive stop on 4th and 1 at your 30.
No question. And I think if you take a number of plays that led up to it, I think it starts with the interception right before the half, where our defense, stops BC, and they just decide to let the clock run out because they felt like they couldn't move the ball on the defense. Then we come back to the third quarter. We turn it over, if you remember, in the third quarter, and our defense holds them again to a field goal. Then we come back with a poor punt. They got great field position, and our defense holds them on 4th and 1. That really finally got our offense going, and then, we score 3 consecutive touchdowns. So, that period of time where the game was in balance, our football team finally broke through with, the kind of grit necessary to win football games. And I think it was a real important time for this football team as they grew up.
Your defense right now, already 6 takeaways, and that's one of the reasons you brought Coach Elko in, because his defenses take the ball away. And you already have 6 sacks, and that was a weak spot last year. And a great story, you mentioned the interception. Sean Crawford, he's been through so much.
Yeah.
2 serious injuries. Now he's back. 2 interceptions on Saturday.
Yeah, and a fumble recovery. So, being in the right place at the right time. What I liked about Sean is that, they got him matched up one-on-one, but, he's in great position to make the interception because he trusted his teaching. You can see he looks for the ball when he's in phase, and because he's in great phase, he's in a great position to make the interception. And, again, here we get, look, he's just in a good position here to make a play. You could easily drop that too. But I think, you look at his last 2 years where he had career or season ending. His season was ended with injuries. it's great to see him have some success.
And you never want to see the sideline flagged, and we could read your lips talking to the official, but the emotion of that sideline exploding to embrace him was his teammates knowing what he's gone through and how impactful they knew that play was.
Yeah, I mean, it was a...
I don't want you to comment on the call, but just...
I do want to comment on the call.
Okay, I don't want to lead you into that.
Can I comment on the call?
Well, you can do whatever you want. It's your show.
I mean, it had no bearing on. It was one of our players that was excited, and
I believe.
And come on now, really?
But you saw the chemistry on this team and the love on this team, right? With that play.
Yes, exactly. I mean, in those situations, we talked to our guys about, look, you got to be careful. One of our guys bumped into the official, and I don't think that he was able to get his hand out straight, making the first down the other way. So we'll be better at it next time.
We have lots of audience questions for Coach Kelly, and we'll get to those right after this first time out. The Brian Kelly Radio Show, live from O'Rourke's Public House.
There are countless not very smart things you can do in your car. Watching Notre Dame football while driving, doing push-ups after the Irish score while driving, dancing a victory jig while driving. But with TireRack.com, it's easy to be smart about your tires. Use our test results and consumer reviews to find the best tire for your car. Use our comparison tools to choose the right tires for you. Then have them shipped and installed fast. TireRack.com, official tire experts of Notre Dame football.
Bank of America and the Notre Dame Alumni Association bring you the Notre Dame Bank AmeriCard Cash Rewards Visa Card. You can earn cash back on all purchases, including groceries and gas, and even get a $150 cash reward bonus offer. Head online to my.nd.edu/credit card and learn more today. 2 card designs available, either the football helmet or the Golden Dome. The Notre Dame Bank AmeriCard Cash Rewards Visa Card. Online at my.nd.edu/credit card.
At St. Joseph Health System, every hand held, every story told, every tear shed, smile shared, and spirit lifted stays in our hearts forever. We're blessed because every day we get to make a difference in people's lives. To learn more, visit sjmed.com. St. Joseph Health System. We are called to care for you.
Want to know why 85% of people prefer Xfinity X1 to their current TV experience? Take the Xfinity X1 Challenge and experience X1 for yourself. With the X1 voice remote, the most movies and TV shows on demand, and all your DVR shows to go, X1 will change the way you experience TV. Switch to Xfinity from Comcast and get a great offer. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit an Xfinity store today. Restrictions apply, based on consumers with a preference in June 2016 study.
Welcome back to the Brian Kelly Radio Show. Nice crowd here at O'Rourke's Public House on a summery September night. Dean from South Bend is here. He's always at just about every show. Coach, what is your preference, afternoon or night game, and why?
On the road, I'd rather play afternoon. At home, I kind of like the night games. Great atmosphere. A little bit of both. Those night games make for, for example, the Michigan State game starts at 8:18. That's a long day. We won't get back, and we're busing.
And you bus.
So we won't get back till like 3:30 in the morning. So it makes for a long next day.
Michael Lenich is here from South Bend. You're going up against the number 1 third down defense in the nation. Will you try to do something different on offense to convert on third downs?
Well, our third down conversion was very good. We just look. Michigan State. It's hard to really scout them because they played 2 Mid-American Conference teams,
Bowling Green and Western Michigan,
and then had a week off. But
surprise, that's true. They took a week off last week.
Yeah, the first 10 plays are going to be really good plays. They've been scripting them since May, so we just have to really hunker down early on and weather some adversity, but. Going back to the third down, they have a nice third down package. It's really up to our quarterback to do a good job in recognition of where our protections need to be and then be accurate throwing the football. If we do that, we'll move the ball on third down and have some conversions.
And again, it comes with the territory. You run the ball well, everybody wants to know why you didn't throw it better.
Yeah.
But, you let me go to practice. I have never seen Brandon struggle throwing the ball like he did this past Saturday.
Right.
That was an anomaly.
It was an anomaly. He throws the ball really well. He just had one of those funky days that, the thing about Brandon is he didn't throw the ball very well, so he said, I'm going to run the ball. And he ran it pretty well. He's just that kind of kid that he's going to find a way. And to have the skill set to be able to do that is amazing. But he's a balanced quarterback that he can run it, he can throw it, and he'll bounce back with a good game.
Nathan Sagan from Granger's here. Coach, do you have any social media rules or restrictions for your players?
We have rules. We want them to obviously anything that's within the program. We don't talk about injuries. We don't talk about the other team. Obviously, we don't want to give them any bulletin board material. We want to stay very positive and upbeat when it comes to social media. We don't take it away from them. I don't think that's a very good educational tool, taking social media away. But just being smart and understanding that, the platform is seen by so many people that follow our players, and just being cognizant of the fact that they have thousands and thousands of people that are following them, so you got to be smart.
One thing I'm finding, too, is as social media becomes more intense, more and more of your players are voluntarily just getting off it.
They don't want the some of the things that go along with it, right? And because of
it's a two-way street.
Yeah,
if you're on there, they can go. People can
absolutely
reach out to
and
you
it's
too.
Snap judgments and quick decisions, and they'd rather not be involved in it. So our guys take a break during the season from social media for the most part.
Wise decision. Ray Huber's here from Culver. Coach, how did this week go as far as the wide receivers and tight ends are concerned?
Well, I think they've done a really good job. I mean, we've got to catch the ball a little better. We've got to throw it a little bit better. We've got to protect a little bit better. It's never in this game one area. It's always a combination. That's why there's 11 players. It's not golf. It's not tennis. There's 11 players, and so if you struggle in one particular area, then it's usually a combination of things. And I love the way our guys practice and prepare. I think as we continue to progress, you'll see improvements each and every week with the entire units.
Little hard to read, but I think it's John or Jan N. from South Bend. Coach, what makes Coach Elston such a great assistant coach? The linebackers were good under his direction, and now the D-line is improved.
Really smart in that he understands the game and then can translate it through different teaching mediums. In other words, he's not just somebody that's going to get up on a whiteboard and teach on the whiteboard. He's going to use video. He's going to use walkthroughs. He's going to use tip sheets. He's going to use whatever it is that can catch that young man and gain the knowledge to him. He's going to use all those different mediums to teach, and that's what a good educator does, right? I mean, you can't paint with a broad brush and say, I'm just going to use, I'm going to stand up here and lecture, right? He's really good at knowing that there's different ways to learn, and he does a great job of getting that message across to his entire room.
Jerry Liss, who you just met from South Bend, always comes to the shows. And folks, if you come out, we do select some people to come up and meet Coach, and he signs some things for them. We can't get to everybody. There was one Georgia fan who was very upset that he was not able to get up here. But,
too bad.
Well, your security made sure he didn't get up here.
Good. That's J.K. right over here. He's hard to get by.
How does Brandon Wimbush help your defense prepare for a dual-threat quarterback?
Well, we spend a little bit of time, going against each other during the year, but it's really, during preseason camp, where our defense gets to see Brandon a little bit more. But he had a red jersey on, so it's not really even fair to say that they got a chance to tackle Brandon. He's a very difficult guy to tackle, as we all know. I think that most defenses now are, pretty tuned into how they have to defend quarterbacks. Like, you don't go into a game with, Lewerke, for example, and not have somebody assigned to him. You better know that, he's good enough that he can run and beat you. So I think all quarterbacks today, when you talk about them, they have the athletic ability that they can make plays.
Fast Eddie Durham always watches us out in Mesa, Arizona, sends in a question each week, just sent us a picture. Apparently he's Fast Eddie because he was in the movie Little Giants, and he was Fast Eddie in that movie. He wants to know about C.J. Holmes, and that segues into Joe Adinsky's question from South Bend about which players you think that you're going to redshirt this season. I know you don't make the final decision yet, but you're pretty close to knowing who you expect to hold out.
C.J. had shoulder surgery back in the spring, so that's usually 6-7 months, and so he's not really physically able to compete for a while, and so that usually tends to lead it to some form of medical redshirt at the end of the season. That's where that is heading. Unless we have some injuries or depleted in some area, we've played the freshmen that we wanted to play early, and most of the other players are trending towards developing in this first year.
And, of course, at Notre Dame, they have to get admitted to graduate school and be approved and everything. But when you look at most championship teams, they got a lot of fifth-year players.
We have three.
Rosters. I know.
We have three fifth-year players, and that's a lot for us. So Hunter Bivin, Mike McGlinchey, and Durham Smythe are our three fifth-year players. So we're never going to have many fifth-year players. We'll play teams. Stanford, I think last year, had 17 fifth-year players. We're always going to be younger when it comes to that. Our kids get their degree in under 4 years, so they're not hanging around for a fifth year generally. Those circumstances were unique for Mike and Durham and Hunter.
Bill is here from Granger. Who has exceeded your expectations so far on both offense and defense?
I think anytime you play a true freshman, they exceed your expectations. I think, if you talk about the defensive tackles, Kurt and Myron playing as true freshmen, certainly that's been, a pleasant surprise for us and getting them some playing time. I think Robert Hainsey, playing right tackle as a freshman, even though he's a mid-year enrollee, that's a bit of a surprise, for us, for him to get in there and do what he's done. I'd say those guys. Nick Coleman is really, I don't know if it's a surprise, but he's really developed into a fine safety. He's a guy that we moved from corner last year. At this time, he was playing corner. I think those guys in particular have really done a nice job. And then Drew Tranquil's been an impact player at the rover position. That position has really proven to be a nice landing spot for him.
Folks, as you know, Tire Rack is the presenting sponsor of the Brian Kelly Radio Show, and like the Irish, Tire Rack knows a thing or two about passion and performance. Their on-site text track is their playing field, and they've got a playbook that includes precisely what you need. Get your tires right at TireRack.com. Find, deliver, install smarter. And that big warehouse over on the west side isn't just a warehouse. You can drive right in, buy tires, they'll put them on, you can drive out. If you're really nice, they'll let you drive around their little test track, but I think you got to get permission to do that. When we come back, we are going to reintroduce you to an old friend who's back. Brian Polian has rejoined the staff, and we'll talk with him right after this timeout. The Brian Kelly Radio Show, live from O'Rourke's Public House.
Need cash? Call 800-962-CARS.
LKQ will buy your car or truck.
Need cash? Call 800-962-CARS.
LKQ buys them all, running or not.
Need cash? Call 800-962-CARS.
LKQ even buys wrecked vehicles.
Need cash? Call 800-962-CARS.
LKQ will even come get it from you.
Need cash? Call 800-962-CARS.
Get cash back for your clunker at LKQ.
Thinking about life insurance? What if you could make one free phone call and learn your best price from nearly a dozen highly rated, price-competitive companies? Well, that's exactly what happens when you call SelectQuote Life. For example, George is 40. He was getting sky-high quotes from other companies because he takes meds to control his blood pressure. But when I shopped around, I found him a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $25 a month. I'm SelectQuote agent Dan Savino. And believe me, if SelectQuote isn't shopping for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 800-461-4545. That's 800-461-4545. 800-461-4545. Or go to SelectQuote.com. Since 1985, we shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policy at selectquote.com/commercials. Or price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
My dad came to live with us last month, and it's going pretty well.
I feel like I never have time for myself.
With him being around more, it really lets us catch up on things.
His memory isn't what it used to be.
We get up and we have coffee.
He usually wakes up at 4:30.
Then we go for a walk.
He needs lots of my attention.
I do need to keep an eye on his medications, though. That's important.
Sometimes I feel like a pharmacist.
I'd say John and the kids are adjusting pretty well.
They honestly have no idea what I'm going through.
It can be a little challenging.
Help.
But so far, so good.
I could really use just a little help.
For those dealing with the daily struggles of caring for a loved one, we hear you. That's why AARP created a community with experts and other caregivers for advice, tips, and support. Together, let's help each other better care for ourselves and the ones we love. Visit aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
The home of Notre Dame football, the NFL, weekday sports beat, and JT in the morning. 960 AM, 96.1 FM, WSBT, South Bend.
Welcome back to the Brian Kelly Radio Show, and please welcome, beginning his second stint on the Notre Dame football coaching staff, Brian Polian. Just spent 4 seasons as the head football coach at Nevada, guided the Wolfpack to 2 bowl bids and just their 5th bowl win in school history. I know you thought you'd gotten rid of these radio shows, but we've got you right back into that mix.
You know, when people talk about the Nevada days, they don't talk about how we came here and got waxed last fall.
Well, yeah, we got to be polite, you know.
But he got a big check out of it.
That's right.
I mean, and you even said that. We're here to help fund the program.
That's right.
Of course, he was here from 05 to 09. You remember he worked with special teams, linebackers, and defensive backs. And you just, not only is he working with special teams, and we'll talk about that, you can see the improvement on both sides of special teams right now. You just made him recruiting coordinator. What made you bring him back?
Well, I loved his passion for the game. You know, he loves the game of football. And, you know, when I took over, if the numbers worked out, he was the only guy that I wanted to keep on. Always felt like in recruiting, he was as good as that was out there in terms of recruiting. Knew Notre Dame.
We'll fly anywhere to recruit.
Yeah, that was for sure. But his passion for the game, you know, the love of the game is so important. And then the ability to coach a number of different positions. He's coached on both sides of the ball. And then, you know, obviously with the chance to get him back here, he was the first guy that I called to get back on the staff. So, you know, the ability to take over recruiting, now that we've elevated Mike Elston to the role, it was an easy one. You know, he's got great experience, and again, understands Notre Dame, because it's not just about going out and recruiting, you know, fast and strong. There's a fit element too, and Brian knows that. So it was just an easy fit to go out and elevate him into that position.
And you have always embraced the importance of special teams from the first day that I met you when you first got here. But is it a little bit unusual to have a guy with the experience coaching so many positions and the skills that he has running special teams?
It is. You know, we're very fortunate that somebody with his experience can, you know, take on this role. But look, I know how New England Patriots built the success of their program, and that was an absolute commitment from the top to special teams. And we needed to start this entire philosophical change with hiring somebody like Brian full-time in that role. And you can't do it by lip service. You have to do it by hiring somebody with his experience, somebody who's done it, and say, we're committed to that as part of our DNA within the program. So, you know, the philosophical shifts that were made within the program in terms of everything we've done was also in hiring Brian to take over that unit.
So how have you seen him put his mark on special teams this year?
Attention to detail. You know, the little things matter in that unit. You know, getting guys to commit themselves 100% to that unit. It's not an afterthought. It's, if you're on this unit, you have to provide 100% dedication, because if you can't do that, you can't play on offense or defense. Because that, and then secondly, give him the opportunity to take the very best players on that team. You know, he's not going to be given, guys that aren't ready to compete at the highest level. And so that attention to detail, I think, is probably the thing that stands out.
And Brian, we talked about it before. You have such tremendous passion and love for this university, and I think that helps. Now, when I say this, people say it's not an excuse, but it is harder here. Lots of things are harder here, and not just in sports, because they demand excellence in all areas of everything anybody does on this campus. So knowing that and embracing it, does that help you succeed here? Because you don't expect it to be easy, and you just embrace it all and say, you know what, we're just going to be great at everything.
There's every job's a little bit unique. This one's unique in a lot of ways. In the community, the mission of the university, the academic and social standards. I think Jack Swarbrick, our athletic director, says it best. The people that succeed here beyond not only their time on campus, but in life when they leave here, are the ones that embrace the distinctions here. And I think that's one of the uniqueness, that's one of the things that we have to be aware of in recruiting. If a young man tells you, hey, weather's really important to me, then we don't need to spend a lot of time there. When a young guy says, hey, it's really important that I be near the beach, what are we going to convince him of? Now, when a young man says, my education's really important to me, I want to play football at the highest level, I don't want to sacrifice the quality of my education, I don't want to go to a school that's got 50,000 undergrads. When we connect with those young men and they're good enough to help us win, then we can focus our efforts there and not necessarily waste our energy on guys that don't embrace what makes this university special. The things that are unique about Notre Dame speak to me personally, and that's why when Coach was kind enough to reach out and see if there was some interest in coming back, there was not a long conversation between my wife and I. I mean, we jumped at this chance because not only do we embrace the university, the community, what it stands for, the place itself has a very special, place in our lives, in our hearts, in terms of our family.
This is the guy, folks, who was flying to Hawaii to recruit a guy named Manti Te'o, who apparently did like nice weather. And you brought him out here for the Syracuse game when it was snowing and somehow got him to come here. What was it about that process where you were able to convince a guy that had all these choices to come to Notre Dame?
Recruiting's no different than any other part of our lives. Our lives are based on relationships, and we had such a strong relationship that ultimately I knew what he really wanted in his heart, and we fit that bill. And the question was whether or not he was going to have the courage, because often kids will know that this is the best thing for them, but we are always going up against the in-state school or the school that everybody surrounding the young man thinks the logical choice would be. In Manti's case, everybody assumed it was going to be SC, but I just had a hunch that Manti had the courage to kind of go against conventional wisdom and do what was best for him in his heart and with his family. And that's another thing, too. Often when we will get a player to come from a long distance, there's going to be a parent or both that is there supporting them, saying, listen, no, it's okay. We understand why you want to make this choice, and we support it. And we were just able to connect with that family and develop a very strong relationship. And recruiting's like business. It's life. It's relationships.
And they loved it. And they came out here very frequently for folks that had to make a 15-hour trip to get out.
And the Te'o family, we're still very close with. I know Coach Kelly's very close with Mr. and Mrs. Te'o. But, I left only after a year. Yes. And we've remained close with the family. And when we go back to Hawaii recruiting, we always see Brian and stop in and say hello. And Manti and I still text. So, that's the beauty of this place. The Kyle McCarthy's, the Manti Te'os, the Harrison Smiths, the guys that you develop relationships that we still, keep those relationships up to this day.
And the team wasn't out yet, but the last pep rally, home pep rally of Manti's career here, I introduced the family to the crowd in the Joyce Center, and it was a 4 or 5 minute standing ovation, and everybody was just crying about not just because he was good, but because of the kind of person that he was and what he and his family had brought to Notre Dame.
Yeah, I think, you look at, a Catholic university and a Mormon who chose to come here. I think it says a lot about his search for wanting to, be, Brian mentioned step outside that comfort zone, right? And he did it at a Catholic university. So I think that was more of a, thank you for sharing your son for the last 4 years, right?
Yep.
And by the way, thanks for allowing us to go 12-0 with your son as the middle linebacker. We're pretty selfish when it comes to winning football games here too. But no, it was the whole thing, right? It was the whole.
Well, their spirituality.
It was
a
the
common
spirituality.
denominator.
It was making that decision as a family. But it was also, when you talk about family, we're talking about cousins. We're talking about
Polynesian
extended
culture.
family,
Yeah, family's
and
important.
really embracing, the entire family. So it was pretty special.
Here's an interesting story I'll share with you really quick. When we went to go investigate Myron Tagovailoa in Hawaii this year, and obviously that happened late. I mean, I joined in January, and we were going around the room. Who's going to Hawaii? And I'm like, all right, well, I've been there, so I
You know how to do it.
I like going, but I like going in
Like for a week.
March.
Yeah, for less than 20 hours.
Outside of recruiting.
I mean, there were a couple trips where you didn't get a hotel room, did you? You just did it and
No,
came
the
back.
first time I went to see Myron, it was a quick trip. But I called back and I told Coach Elko and Coach Elston, I said, I don't know if we're going to get this guy, but he's got what Manti had. He had that courage, that conviction that if this is right for me, I'm willing to leave my comfort zone. And sure enough, as he's succeeded here as a freshman, he's playing, he's doing well in the classroom. You could see a lot of that. And same thing with Lohi.
Yeah, Lohi, obviously, and just a couple of things. The big fourth down stop. That's Myron in the backfield. He's got just a special personality that is going to lead him to great things here. Both on, as Brian said, both on and off the field. And then Alohi Gilman is, I'll give you an example. So tomorrow we have a developmental lift, for those guys, people talking about guys that aren't playing.
Yes.
Well, they got to be in tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. to lift. And Alohi, he started at Navy. This is a really good player. After that was announced, he goes, I want to see all the developmental lift guys in the end zone. We got a meeting. I want to make sure everybody's there at 6 a.m. I mean, that's the kind of kid that we have with him. Yeah, both those guys are tremendous.
Brian, when you talk about comfort zone, how hard is it? I mean, I know it wasn't Notre Dame, but you had diehard fans at Nevada. How hard is it to go from being the head coach to an assistant?
It's no different than anything else. There are pluses and minuses to every transition. Some head coaches don't have opportunities when the decision is made. I was fortunate enough to have some opportunities and was very excited to come back here. I think that experience for 4 years has made me a better position coach, a better assistant. I want to do my job to the best of my ability, but I also want to make Coach Kelly's job as easy as I possibly can, because when I was a head coach, I really appreciated the assistant coaches that helped me do my job better. And so now that's my role, and I'm happy to do it. To be honest with you, I'm kind of enjoy not getting beat up in the paper every day. I kind of enjoy not being trolled by Boise fans all day long on social media. I look back on it, and I'm incredibly proud of what we accomplished. We inherited an academic house that was in utter disarray, and then in 4 years produced the highest APR in the history of the university. Socially, our guys represented the university tremendously, and I'm very proud of the fact that we had 2 Power 5 wins in 4 years and won only the 5th bowl game in the history of the program. This business, we know what it is. I grew up in it. We're not, we're very realistic. Coach mentioned that, there was a time where I might have stayed here and it didn't work out, and certainly we didn't harbor any ill will. That's the nature of the business. We know that. So Coach and I had a chance to get to know each other a little bit more as the years progressed, and when the situation presented itself to come back, there's no, hey, well, he didn't keep me the first time around. It was, hey, what a great opportunity, a chance to go home. Of course we're going to do this.
Need to get your kickers up here, but I've got to ask for maybe the one person on the face of the earth that doesn't know that you're Bill Polian's son, the Hall of Famer. And what impact did he have? Obviously it's huge, but what kind of an impact did he have on your choosing to be a football coach, your success, and to this day?
Oh, he shapes everything professionally and a lot of my life personally. I'm very blessed to have that kind of relationship with my dad. I chose football because from the age of 12, I was going to NFL training camps in the summertime. At 42 years of age, I've been going to training camp in August for 29 straight years. So it's all I've ever known. Now, my father's respect for coaches and his desire, he wanted to be a coach. All he ever wanted to be was a college. He wanted to coach at Notre Dame. That's why he gets so emotional about my opportunity. But his appreciation for coaches and growing up with Marv Levy and Elijah Pitts and all those guys, my two brothers got into personnel. They sit in a dark room and watch tape. That wasn't for me. I wanted the relationships. I wanted the teaching. But, knock on wood, my dad's 75 and healthy. He was with us last week in Boston. To have a man to lean on in your life like that, but then a professional mentor as well, it's an utter blessing, and we don't take it for granted.
Tyler Newsome, Justin Yoon will join us right after this timeout. The Brian Kelly Radio Show, live from O'Rourke's Public House.
Join us at O'Rourke's Public House, home of the Brian Kelly Radio Show, to cheer on the Fighting Irish before, during, and after all home games. O'Rourke's Irish decor, delicious menu items, and wide variety of beer selections are sure to enhance your game day experience. Open at 8 a.m. on game days, you can watch Saturday's college football action on any of O'Rourke's 15 TVs, including a 92-inch projector screen. O'Rourke's Public House, located directly across from Notre Dame Stadium at the corner of Angela and Eddy Street in the Eddy Street Commons Center.
Ashley is an athlete who is always focused on scoring the next goal. But when unexpected injuries happen, Ashley knows where to go. SB Ortho Now Walk-In Clinic, an orthopedic care clinic with same-day walk-in care for breaks, sprains, and sports injuries. Located in South Bend Orthopedics office at Douglas Road and 23 in South Bend. And open weekdays noon to 8 p.m. and 9 to 1 on Saturdays. No appointment needed means Ashley can be seen right away. Learn more at sborthonow.com.
How do we make sure there's toppings in each bite of Papa John's pizza? We check 80,000 times a year. It may not be easy, but it's the only way to be sure. Everyone's doing their part to make your game day better. And now, get an extra large 2-topping pizza for just $11.
Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
Official pizza sponsor of the NFL.
Limited time offer not valid with any other coupons or discounts. Prices, participation, delivery area, and charges may vary. Additional toppings and taxes extra.
Big banks brag about technology while taking customers for granted with poor customer service when you need help in person. First Source Bank has great technology with highly rated mobile apps. Big banks don't all have highly rated apps like us, but we also have something even more important that big banks don't. Great personal customer service. We're rated the best service in the Midwest 2 years in a row. You deserve better. Switch to First Source Bank. We'll serve you well personally and with highly rated mobile apps. Don't settle for less. Switch today and partner with us. First Source Bank. Member FDIC.
ESPN's Neil Everett here. This college football season, Nissan's putting you in the driver's seat. Go to NissanHeismanHouse.com. Build a customized Titan wrapped in your school's colors. Then register for a chance to win it. Or you can win a trip to the Heisman Trophy ceremony. Enter the Nissan Heisman House sweepstakes. Take on today. Nissan, proud supporter of college athletics.
No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited. Ends 12/8/17. Open to residents of USDC 18 and older. Official rules at NissanUSA.com/Heisman House Sweepstakes. Sponsored by Nissan North America.
Welcome back to the Brian Kelly Radio Show. Please welcome punter Tyler Newsome and place kicker Justin Yoon. Tyler is currently number one in Notre Dame history with a punting average of 44.4 yards per punt in his career. He's seventh in the nation this year, 47.3. And Justin Yoon is the most accurate field goal kicker in Notre Dame history at 80%. He was 4 for 4 against Georgia, a career high. These guys are good, and you may not notice them much because they rarely mess up. So talk to me about these two guys and what they have been like since you have taken over and how you think you've helped them get better.
I don't know if I've helped much, but it was really a blessing to come back. You evaluate the personnel and to know that we were going to inherit a veteran kicker and a veteran punter. We're breaking in a redshirt freshman long snapper, John Shannon, who's done a terrific job. But I was able to look back at film and know pretty quickly that we were going to be dealing with two very high-quality people and players, and I also noticed pretty quickly that there were one or two things technique-wise that I thought we could help with that would make both guys better, but working with them on a daily basis is a lot of fun.
It is a little unusual to have a guy like Coach Polian with all of his experience be the full-time special teams coach. What have been your thoughts? What's it been like to be coached by him?
Right, I definitely think it's one of those things that it's a big blessing when you've had someone who comes in with so much experience, because after 20-something years of coaching, you have a guy who knows what he wants and he knows what it takes to get there. So, yeah, I mean, he may be hard or things, may not be going how you think they should be going, but at the end of the day, he knows what he wants, and it's for the right reason.
Justin.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think it's really important the fact that, he comes here every day and, he comes with, amazing purpose, and we're always continuously improving under him. And when I first came here, it was a learning experience, but I think it's just amazing to know that there's someone who knows just as much as you do about the craft and can tell you that you're doing something wrong, and as a result you can improve on it. And I think that's a big blessing to come into college football. So
you've had the kind of career now where people automatically expect you to make every single kick, regardless of where it's from.
Yes.
The public unveiling of the stadium, the scrimmage, you missed a couple. You missed a couple in the first game. Everybody's going, oh, they had held you out because of the tendonitis. Has Justin lost it? How did he help you get through that? Because you were right on the money with the pressure on against Georgia.
A big thing that we had to work on was my plant foot, and so Coach Polian immediately found that on film, and me just trying to go through all the film and whatnot. I eventually learned that was the issue, and through working through the process continuously during practices and throughout the entire day, pretty much we've been focusing on that little specific thing, and it's really the minor details that make a big difference. Just because one little mistake that can cause a big ball game. I can miss just because of that small difference, and so Coach Polian helped me realize that, and I think knowing that such small details can make such big errors has taught me a lot.
This is to both of you, but I've heard some kicking coaches say that kicking's a little like the golf swing, that it's so exact and everything has to be perfect, and the smallest little thing can throw it completely out of kilter.
There's no doubt. The comparison to the golf swing is pretty accurate, and I told these guys when I got here, it's also a fair comparison because there are technique things, fundamental things that have to be right, but there are also things that each one of these guys do that is unique unto them that I have no interest in changing. We're not going to come in and break them down and say, all right, we got to do this completely different. They both have athletic gifts. They both have traits that are unique to themselves, and we didn't want to break those down. We just wanted to make sure that the fundamental things that had to be right, that we're focused on those things, and both guys have been terrific since I've returned back in terms of trying to pay attention to those things.
Tyler, not only are you 7th in the nation in punting average, but you've got 5 inside the 20 this year. Just letting it rip is a lot of athleticism, but how hard is it to hold it back and to really become a target punter?
That's mainly the thing we've been working on this year. Coach Polian probably gets tired of saying it, but the big thing for me is extending my drop, shortening my steps, and really just focusing on the technique so you do eliminate those mishits. And when you do have a mishit, it's one of those that's a fair catch at 40 yards. Ideally, that's what we're shooting for every time, 40-yard fair catch. Those long punts might look pretty on paper, but they don't look pretty on the grade sheet. So it's one of those things that we're just continuing to work on, 45 yards, fair catch every time to really make it a reliable play versus one of those where we don't know what's going to happen.
Now, you talked about the right fit, and one of the things that I've noticed about this athletic department, every athlete, is the way somehow this school, and maybe it's already in the athletes' DNAs, but you leave here knowing that part of your life responsibility is to help others. And they have an Irish Around the Bend program with the football program, and both of you have been involved. You've been particularly involved with running some of these programs to the point that you are a nominee for the All-State Good Works team this year, and you have actually run some of these programs. Talk about that aspect of being a member of this team. You're all really busy, but I know you put a lot of work into some of those events.
Yes, sir. It's one of those things, I think, even from a young age, my mom, she'd always kind of instilled these values in me and saying, when you've been given so much that when you have the opportunity to give back, you make sure you do that because it's worth it every single time.
All right, when we come back, it's the fun part. You guys have done it, but it's the 60-second drill. Get to take some shots at your teammates and even some of the coaches. Remember, it's live. So family shots right after this timeout. The Brian Kelly Radio Show, live from O'Rourke's Public House.
Legacy Heating and Air, the home of the on-time guarantee. For your service, call us free.
Legacy's home automation solutions are designed to show home and even business owners up to 30% savings on their energy bill. With your heating and air conditioner making up about half of your energy bill, it could mean a ton of money in your pocket. Go to LegacyHeatingandAirInc.com to learn more.
Legacy Heating and Air, the home of the on-time guarantee. For your service, call us free.
A Cook family business.
Thinking about life insurance? What if you could make one free phone call and learn your best price from nearly a dozen highly rated price competitive companies? Well, that's exactly what happens when you call SelectQuote Life. For example, George is 40. He was getting sky-high quotes from other companies because he takes meds to control his blood pressure. But when I shopped around, I found him a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $25 a month. I'm SelectQuote agent Dan Savino, and believe me, if SelectQuote isn't shopping for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 800-461-4545. That's 800-461-4545. 800-461-4545. Or go to SelectQuote.com. Since 1985, we shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Or price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Pet Refuge is a not-for-profit, no-kill animal shelter run by volunteers for the placement of unwanted and abandoned pets into responsible, permanent homes. Pet Refuge is totally dependent upon monetary and material donations from people in the community. For thousands of our furry friends, Pet Refuge has meant shelter and love while waiting for their forever homes like yours. Dog and cat adoptions are Wednesday and Thursday nights from 6 to 8 and Saturdays from 11 to 3 in their new facility at 4626 Burnett Drive in South Bend, just off Ireland Road. Or visit petrefuge.com for more information.
What parents show kids can be more important than what they say when it comes to building vocabulary. I'm Bill Stanczykiewicz of the Indiana Youth Institute. A report from the University of Chicago says parents can help young children learn new words by linking those words to the objects the kids can see. Parents who are better at making visual and verbal connections have children with vocabularies that are 25% larger than their peers when they enter kindergarten. For more parent tips, go online to iyyi.org/kids.
We are back with the kickers here on the Brian Kelly Radio Show. Landon from South Bend submitted a question for each. We'll start the segment with that, and then we'll do a quick 60-second drill. Justin, what's the longest field goal you've ever made in practice or a game? Your Notre Dame record's 52.
Well, are we talking about like here?
Practice? No, anywhere.
Anywhere. I've made 63 before.
63.
Yes.
Big wind at his back.
All right. Opposing defenses worry about that once you get within 63 yards. Tyler, what is the hardest part of punting?
I think the hardest part of punting is knowing when to gauge certain punts. So we were working on this earlier this week, kind of where to range the Aussie punts versus where to punt it regularly and hang it up there. So I guess for me that's probably the hardest part.
All right, 60-second drill, Coach. You can chime in too. One thing the public would be surprised to learn about you. We'll have Coach start.
How I Met Your Mother is my favorite all-time TV show.
All right, Justin.
Can I come back to that? Or
okay, you can pass.
Back home in Georgia, I have a 1978 Camaro that I restored with my dad when I was 17.
Really?
That's my pride and joy. No AC, but it's got a nice 350 in there, and you can hear it.
Oh, so. They were cool. I'm old enough to have ridden in those before. That is a cool car. Which is better, a game-winning field goal, a punt that flips the field, or a game-saving tackle on a return? What do you think is the special teams coach?
Game-winning field goal. You kick it to win it.
Same. Game-winning field goal.
Yeah, sure. By the way, he's already got a tackle this year, and he has 4 in his career, and I know that's always a point of pride.
Well, no, let's not. No.
No, for them. You don't. I know if they make the tackle, it's a busted play.
Yeah,
I
that's
know
a problem.
that. But kickers always like to say I made a tackle because everybody else gets on them.
Justin jumped on the pile last week at BC. He had a
That's the best
JOP,
thing.
a jump on the pile.
Best singer on the team.
Isaiah Robertson.
I would say Asmar Bilal.
Okay.
No clue.
Best dancer on the team.
Chris Fink.
I would agree with that. Chris
Fink.
Yes.
We'll have to remember that.
Mm-hmm.
I know you just got back, so you may not know an answer to that.
They don't have fun in front of us.
Best comedian on the team.
Jay Hayes.
Oh, definitely. Yes,
Yeah,
definitely Jay
all
Hayes.
right.
Maybe Pete. Maybe.
Pete Mockaway, yep.
How about best comedian on the coaching staff?
Elko is sneaky,
Elko, sneaky, funny.
sneaky, dry, funny.
All right. That's the coach. Best dresser on the team.
Brandon Wimbush.
Brandon Wimbush.
Worst dresser on the team.
Maybe me.
All right.
Brandon Tias.
Best dresser on the coaching staff.
Coach Kelly's or Chad.
Chad?
Yeah.
Ooh, Chad.
actually,
Coach
Chad,
ought to
yeah.
talk to him about that.
No, Todd Light's got all that first-round draft pick
All
money.
right.
He's
And
still
finally,
dressed like-
this is a tough one. Worst dresser on the coaching staff. You can pass.
Yeah, I'm passing that one.
I got to pass on
You want to take a shot at your colleagues? Who's the worst dresser on your coaching staff?
That's got to be me. Everything's from Joseph A. Bank.
Best thing about playing for Notre Dame?
Wow. If I had to put it in one sentence, it would be probably one of the hardest things I've done here. So I'm going to pass on that one. I guess the whole tradition and this experience I've had is very hard to put into words in less than 60 seconds.
Definitely the fans. On the walk, you can't get any more support than that. So.
All right, guys, thank you so much. Coach Brian Polian, Tyler Newsome, Justin Yoon. We'll be back to wrap things up with Coach Kelly right after this.
There are countless not very smart things you can do in your car. Watching Notre Dame football while driving, doing push-ups after the Irish score while driving, dancing a victory jig while driving. But with TireRack.com, it's easy to be smart about your tires. Use our test results and consumer reviews to find the best tire for your car. Use our comparison tools to choose the right tires for you. Then have them shipped and installed fast. TireRack.com, official tire experts of Notre Dame football.
Join us at O'Rourke's Public House, home of the Brian Kelly Radio Show, to cheer on the Fighting Irish before, during, and after all home games. O'Rourke's Irish decor, delicious menu items, and wide variety of beer selections are sure to enhance your game day experience. Open at 8 a.m. on game days, you can watch Saturday's college football action on any of O'Rourke's 15 TVs, including a 92-inch projector screen. O'Rourke's Public House, located directly across from Notre Dame Stadium at the corner of Angela and Eddy Street in the Eddy Street Commons Center.
Bank of America and the Notre Dame Alumni Association bring you the Notre Dame Bank AmeriCard Cash Rewards Visa Card. You can earn cash back on all purchases, including groceries and gas, and even get a $150 cash reward bonus offer. Head online to my.nd.edu/credit card and learn more today. 2 card designs available, either the football helmet or the Golden Dome. The Notre Dame Bank AmeriCard Cash Rewards Visa Card. Online at my.nd.edu/credit card. Fighting Irish fans, don't miss your chance to experience the action live with tickets from Vivid Seats, the official ticket marketplace of the Fighting Irish. Visit vividseats.com/UND today to buy and sell tickets to any event. Home games, on the road, even sold-out games, no problem. And every transaction is backed by a 100% buyer guarantee. Vivid Seats lets you see more and sit closer all season long. Support the Fighting Irish with tickets from the official ticket marketplace, Vivid Seats. Available now at vividseats.com/UND. We're back on the Brian Kelly Radio Show. We had your recruiting coordinator here, but you know, a lot of folks from the recruiting officer here.
Yeah, I want to just shout out to Jazz, Ryan, Riley, Sarah, all here from the recruiting office. Brian promised that he would pick up their meal, so I just wanted to make sure. Thank you for all the work you guys do for us. So
all right, thank you. It's a lot of work. It really is
today.
today.
They do a great job. They really do.
All right. In 20 seconds or less, keys to the game.
Well, I think for us, offensively, a little bit more balance, run the football. Again, it's a lot of man coverage, so we're going to have to make some plays in terms of throwing it. Defensively, last year we gave up too many big runs, as you know. Eliminate those big runs. They're going to run the football as well. Lewarke is somebody that you got to keep an eye on. So minimize the big plays from a defensive standpoint. Do what we've been doing, and then offensively, again, a little bit more balance in our offensive attack. I think we'll be in good shape.
All right, Coach, thank you. 8:18 Saturday night. We'll be back next Thursday. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Thanks for coming out. Good night and go Irish.
The Brian Kelly Radio Show at O'Rourke's Public House is presented by the experts at TireRack.com and is brought to you by Team Notre Dame partners Coca-Cola, Under Armour, and Gatorade. The Brian Kelly Radio Show is also brought to you by Delta Airlines, proud to be the official airline of Notre Dame Athletics, Bank of America, the official bank of Notre Dame Athletics, Canon, Xfinity, Vivid Seats, Nissan, St. Joseph Health System, and South Bend Orthopedics.